Hello, welcome to the Revolt Endurance Championship. This will be round 1 today. We will be racing Toytanic 1, Duke, and Honk is also here with me.
Hello, hello.
That should be started quick.
He's on the Cougar, I do believe.
Yeah, I do see a Cougar, 3 players going for the laps immediately. So now we have the times. Nick is actually in the lead of the qualifying with 45.6. Sting close second on a Toyeka. Dolo and BGM both will be finishing theirs. Dolo improves to 46.001. BGM 45.8. I'm not sure he'd run it that lap. Famous with a 45.5. Frost only has a 52.8 thus far. TT is gonna be the next across the line. 46.0 with a bit of improvement. Ashen not able to improve. Dolo neither. I think he was close. Fam with a 45.314. That's the first really strong lap.
Wow.
Disqualifying.
Yeah, that was pretty much as low as you projected it to get, and we're only about halfway through.
Sting getting second from Nick with a 45.5. Frost gets up to fourth. He now has a 45.630. 3 minutes in, they have 2 minutes plus lap finishing left. TT doesn't improve, Ashen does. He gains a few spots with that. Dolo, the 45.9s and 8s are quite close together.
And Nick actually wrecked out at the end of that lap. It might have been because he knew that it wasn't going to be good enough. But he is going to be starting another one.
At the end of that cycle, TT again, first across the line. Oh, Ashen letting some of the traffic by. BGM improving, overtaking Lampard. Laker not managing to improve. Zyno, 45.8. That could be a decent spot at the start. Frost in the final turn. This could be a good lap. 45.3, not managing to beat Famous. TT will certainly be able to begin another lap. A good question is who will be the last to do that?
That's yeah. Also, yeah, looking towards the back, Erzu and Amma both are going to be looking to improve on their times here at their final laps. As we are approaching 5 minutes, it doesn't look like Nick's going to make it. Kilobaris Rex.
And TT will not improve with that. Solo. 45.5 is not going to beat that. BGM not improving either. Ashen not.
Erzu here though.
And I don't think any improvements were made there in the end.
Amma securing third place. That is super impressive considering he was in the bottom 2. But alright, that works. Jumping through the hoop.
Oh wow. We'll be kicking off the race in the final turn here. And the race is going.
Okay. And Zyno impressing me with that starting position. Not super close to the front, but doing well for himself. I guess we should be looking at the front though. Packed up, Famous makes a mistake on the diagonal jump, headed into the captain's quarters. Amma passed up by Frostbitten, who I believe went for a wall bang of sorts.
Yeah, now it's Frost, Amma, Sting. Sting going to the Jacob pulls him and Amma hit that side though. So it's Fam who's back in fourth and now right behind Amma.
Super good for himself.
It's not 5 laps, it's 59.
Good. Amma gaining a bunch of time there from the looks of things, challenging Nick. It does seem to have gotten around him, maybe not though. They're neck and neck. They're going to be continuing fighting for that second place position.
Yeah, and they're not that far behind Frost. Amma now runs the best lap of the race. Toytanic might be the most closest
Ooh.
pack we will see, but Amma with a crash and
Mhm.
Sting gets third. He doesn't lose any more positions, thankfully for him.
Famous is going to be quite close as well to a couple positions here. Ama is going to need to find that consistency if he hopes to stay in the upper echelons of this race. Now, Laggy Rock staying nearby is in sixth. Famous, meanwhile, trying to pass up Ama. Does get the wall bounce, but Ama is blocking, and it works out for Ama.
And
Famous,
Fam now with the great U-turn, taking back that position. Now possibly heading for the front.
Stingox. Yeah.
We've talked about how Fam won a lot of races in the previous Endurance Championships. He wouldn't want to miss out on that this time around either. So he's still being attacked by Amma, and he doesn't even have the best of the race. Sting has that. And also, one thing we didn't talk about is that best laps also mean points. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 respectively. Amma goes back ahead, but Fam with a better wallbang manages to get forced back. Oh, the U-turn is gonna also determine a lot. Amma hits the inside wall. It determined more than we expected. And now he's in the sandwich of Lager and Lampard. Very close to each other. You really don't want to go into the chains in the final turn like that.
Right. Now, something we often talk about is how Laggy Rock does tend to be more consistent, but have slower pace, have worse best lap times. But he's actually already in fifth. He seems to have had quite a good qualifying lap. Actually going to be spinning out Ama. Famous spins out as well. Now, that wasn't Laggy Rock necessarily intentionally spinning out Ama, and Ama might have done himself as well. But it did seem that way.
Amma seems to be hitting inside walls a bit. Yeah. And in the meantime, Lampard and Kila squeeze by Famous on that U-turn.
Wow.
Fam is now down in 7th, and Frost has the fastest lap of the race. I say that, but Nick takes it. So the fight at the front is quite intense.
I mean, you're exactly right. Like, Nick does have the better best lap here. Frost really looked like he was pulling away there at the beginning, and it does look that way. If you just happen to tune in to the 1v1 between Nick and Frost, you're like, oh yeah, Frost is like a pretty sizable gap. But yeah, if you're looking at those best laps, you will see actually Sting has the new best lap. Sting nearby. But it does straighten out to about 30 meters there. Famous was in, I believe, 7th, but he's back up to 6th now, pushing Keela. Keela's actually fallen back a bit now, 9th. Keela seems to have gotten wrecked out.
Oh yeah, he lost quite a few spots with that and distance as well. He's now behind TT. And Ashan is closely following actually, not a bad performance from him so far. He's ahead of Erzu, who is on the Cougar, and now Kila as well, because Kila made a mistake. But yeah, Erzu is down in 12th, although not that bad of a performance, and BGM and Dolo are fighting for 13th. That's not something we would have expected.
Into those quarters, there's going to be a wall bang before it. They both hit it. Looking good. Nick has lost just a couple meters there.
Frost takes the best lap, which also means 6 points. So that's something they will be fighting for, but a win compared to second is worth more than a best lap compared to second best lap. So that is what Nick and Frost will want to fight for here.
We did have a disconnect.
It does look like it. It was from the front of the field, I believe.
Yeah. Hard to tell. I think we'll know soon enough.
It was someone from ahead of Fam because the gaps are not adding up at that section.
Lampert was terminated.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate situation for Lampert. Commiserations. Was definitely putting in a fight there. In the meantime, though, Lagirock is out in fourth, being challenged by Famous, who has been putting in work to move back up. Currently situated 100 meters ahead of sixth place.
Yeah, so if you look at the live timing, Famous is actually on the lead lap. There's a bit of a mistake there.
Nick seems to have possibly wrecked. Is now about 40 meters behind Frost and is being challenged by Sting. So what was a consistent battle for the first 17 or so laps of this race between Frost and Nick, maybe 15 laps. Now Frost being given a bit of breathing room. It's great if you're a fan of Frost. If you're a fan of anyone else, you really hate to see this because Frost can do a whole lot with a little gap.
Amma ran the best lap about a lap ago, which
wow.
we didn't mention either.
Yeah.
But the closest fight is for second, and Frost with the breathing room at the moment. Although Nick and Sting got a bit closer, that it might just be because of the type of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
But it's certainly not safe. It's not even one third of the way through. And Nick and Sting are 30 meters away.
Famous, yeah. Ooh, I start
Sting with the
talking
overtake
about it.
for second. Sting with the overtake. And now Nick gets sent back to third. Sting will be the one behind Frost. That doesn't mean much because Nick is closer to him and they are still focused on the fight between each other. Frost now will want to be a bit more consistent and pacey maybe with this gap, although that could mean that the following cars could catch up. And Fam goes by Lagier behind them. So this could mean that Sting will be able to chase Frost, and there's also a bit of a fight, two small fights in the midfield. TT and Kilavarus and Erzu and Amma. Amma, who has the best lap of the race, he's not been able to find the consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. Erzu in the Cougar, and that probably does part of the job explaining why he did have that rough qualifying round. But he's claimed quite a few positions, get passed up by Amma right there, as we mentioned it. Amma giving him a little honk.
He does go by for now. Let's see if he can catch TT without making a mistake. He does have the best lap of the race with a 45.3. I also wonder what kind of a controller he's using. Maybe he's driving with a wheel. Amma's been known to use wheel, at least in time trial. Maybe he's using it in this race as well, which could explain the pace, the consistency difficulties. Although I'm not 100% sure which one he's using. Dolo probably also uses a wheel.
As for the overall positions, it's been a bit stagnant lately. First Frost, second Stingox, third Nick, fourth Famous, fifth Lagirock. A bit of a gap to sixth on Powerade. And that has been the way it's been for a bit now.
I think the biggest issue for Fam is that this is a track where they are fairly consistent. So he needs to catch them on pure pace or the occasional mistake.
Yeah.
And 45.4 is not gonna be enough for it. He doesn't even have the best lap of the race at the moment. Nick is, I think, known for insane one lap pace. But right now he's fairly consistent. He is third. But I wonder if this will carry because he is starting to get a little tired maybe. Which is why he's falling into the grasp of Fam, who is right there behind him. And he could be looking for opportunities to overtake now, or just waiting for the mistake of Nick.
B got spun around in the quarters. Erzu going to be passing him up. Amma and Powerade neck and neck.
Could he find it in this U-turn. He's looking to the inside. He takes that spot.
Yeah, looking great for Famous. He's going to have to hold on to it. Amma still with the best lap of the race. Definitely has high hopes to pass, but in the meantime, focus on Famous and Nick. Battle for second. Lap 30 of 60 is where we're at.
Yeah, Nick is really close. Oh, he gained a lot in that turn. He's gonna be overtaking him in the 90-degree right turn there. I never thought an overtake there would be possible, but Fam ran a bit wide in the first of those. Oh, and then Nick is the inside wall. So Fam is back ahead.
Man.
And this time it might be more permanent. In fact, Lager will be chasing Nick.
It looks like Dolo actually wrecked out in a horrible way. He's now 200 meters behind.
In the meantime, Ersu NP in a big fight. Yeah, Dolo lost a lot of gap compared to them. And Zaino and Lopesco are not far from him. And Ersu holding on to that 9th spot. I think he actually gained maybe the one Amma gave to him by crashing out. Amma does seem to have these phases of his race here, where he starts doing good, and then he crashes out, loses a lot of time, and this is a cycle that repeats. BGM goes by Erzo in the meantime.
He is giving that Dr. Pepper Cougar a push, big push. He said, "Get out of my way." He doesn't even go for the wall bang.
Sting did a personal best lap of 45.408. No, 45.437. And he's ahead of Frost now on the best lap leaderboard. Which, remember, also grants points.
He's only 30 meters behind Frost, which is one of the better spots that he's been in over this race, I do believe. So it's going to be tough, but if he continues having really, really good laps, I think that he can beat it without Famous Frost wrecking, but Stingox wrecks out while I'm saying it. He went for the wall bang, and yeah, he wrecked out. Now he's going to be much closer to Famous than he is to Frost.
And Amma getting overtaken by Dolo. Amma lost more than 50 meters to the wreck. Lopesco and Zaino are right behind now. Lopesco with the inside line, that's not gonna work.
Chasing him down. In the meantime, yeah, it looks like Powerade, who I believe was being challenged by Kilo Bars for 6, has fallen back to 8th, passed by TT as well. Quite a lot of chair swapping going on in the middle of the pack.
And Ashan is getting close to Zaino in the back. That's the closest battle, so let's have a bit of a look at the back of the field as well. Ashan has been running well this race, but then I presume he ran into a bunch of mistakes, which is why he's in the tail end. Oh, he almost made a mistake on the wall right there. There's 10 meters between the two of them. Zaino with a crash. Maybe he is getting tired as well. There is a lapping car coming up behind him. That will be Nikon. And in the meantime, Sting and Fam are less than 10 meters apart. Sting running into issues. Famous looking at that second place. His recovery is almost complete, but he will still have to face Frost even if he does get by Sting.
Powerade has made a wreck an 8th, getting him further away from TT, and now he's on the tail end of B, or rather B is on the tail end of him. Oh, and Sting has wrecked. Sting wrecked on the diagonal jump, and Famous passes him up. A 30-meter lead for Famous off the back of that wreck. There were just a couple meters between the two of them. And so Sting, as they enter into lap 40 in just a bit, the remaining 20 laps is now going to be up to Sting to do the cleanup duty, unless Famous so graciously hands him a wreck of his own.
Yeah, and Sting will be shortened by that, but
he
remember,
wrecks.
Nick. Oh, okay. There we have it. Remember, Nick was in second a while back. Then Sting overtook him. Oh, Ashen is right behind, and I wonder if there was a bit of contact involved.
I don't
Not
think it
100%
was an
sure.
intentional, but it did look kind of funny. Um, and Ashen is just going to let Sting pass all the way. Very nice of him. Going for
Okay,
a
so
diagonal
at
jump.
least
Yep.
now the order is correctly showing Famous as the second place driver. So that is sorted.
Good.
And Frost is 80 meters in the lead. I don't think Famous has a good chance. They have 18 laps left as Frost crosses the line. Dolo is being lapped by Famous. This could be some iconic scenes here.
Well, when you were saying that, since I'm watching the live stream, and when I saw it, it looked like Famous had actually wrecked on the screen a bit. So I mean, Nick is now at under 50 meters. He is being challenged quite heavily by Sting, but if Fam continues to make some of these careless errors, such as right here after the dissension, that dissension turn has been causing some issues for him. He's looking good, passes up Dolo. Now that is a lapped car there, so not going to be a position overtake, but does get Dolo out of his way. Nick and Sting still 10 meters in between. B seems to, well, there's been a switch up in these positions here towards the back. Cut me off if something happens between Nick and Sting. But Keela is in ninth. Has been passed up by both Powerade and B. Powerade defending 8th. B defending 7th. 50 meters behind TT at the moment.
Frost is looking really strong. We are 3/4 of the way through, and he could be leading the championship after the first race, even including best laps. Fem does have a bit better one, but that won't be enough to get enough points on Frost, unless Fem goes for the best lap and somehow beats Amma, and Frost doesn't get a better best lap. But Frost has more buffer, and Fem makes a mistake just as I say that. So
Is it possible that Amma or Dolo went for the chair skip, and that is why that they have the such a good best lap? Consistency has not been the name of the game for them, but they've been able to keep those best lap times. Still,
I do wonder if it has to do with them using wheels, Lopesca with a crash. Singh and Nick managed to lap him, and the fight for second is actually on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Famous, Nick, and Sting are all now super tightly grouped, considering circumstances. We're 47 laps into this race, and they're still so close to each other.
When we were talking about their best laps.
Yeah.
Frost, Sting with a crash, Lopesca gets back ahead.
Okay.
He's not fighting Lopesca, but it's important because this could be traffic for him.
Mm-hmm.
So my monologue that got interrupted by Famous crashing is that Frost is actually in quite a good spot right now.
Okay.
Because he has 100 meters. Even if he doesn't get the best lap of the race, he still Fem only gets 2 points for his best lap. And he can't really go for those because Nick is behind, although he might have to because of Nick especially.
Right.
But Frost has 110 meters. He can try to go every risky strategy he can on this track, and he'd still possibly be leading. Although he might want to do that rather in the final lap, so that
Exactly. I think he wants to get as much space as he can from every single racer, and then maybe with like 5 laps up, he'll try to do some more risky stuff. Uh-oh. B with an overtake on TT. TT's falling out of it. He was in such a strong 6th, but he seems to have made a couple of mistakes. Kilo bars. Possibly passed up Powerade as well. I believe he did. And
yeah,
going to be hunting.
Is on a good recovery as well. He didn't have a great start to the race. Especially after yesterday's test race where he did quite well. But now he seems to have found his rhythm, and we were talking about the fight being settled, kind of, for the time being, for 6.
Yep.
but settled means that any crash could possibly still upset
Yes,
the whole flow.
yes. We're approaching the final laps of this race, 53 of 60.
And there's also a fight for 13th. Oh, Zyno with a big crash in the final turn. Ashen goes by, and Amma is now behind the both of them.
Now I do see the numbers counting down here. Keela and B, they're very close to each other. Nothing crazy happening yet.
Yeah, BGM recovered to 6, but he still needs to maintain it, and there's more than 6 laps left for them.
Nick is 4 meters ahead of Sting, holding on to the podium in 3rd place. He's going to have to really fight for his life here. 5 laps.
Remember, there's still 3 points difference. It's more emphasized towards the front of the field, so an overtake here could mean quite a bit for Sting, and also a podium finish, which could be good for his morale.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Oh, Sting with the overtake, with a bit of push there. I'm not sure if Nick was already crashing before that.
Yeah, go ahead.
But Sting definitely got by. It is allowed.
He definitely got by him. Yeah. It may be occupied by Sting for the moment, but the number is still so low. Nick wallbanging it too early, perhaps, and he is going to be knocked down to 50 meters behind Sting. We have seen Sting make similar mistakes at the wallbang portion. So it's, like we said, even when it's case closed, it's not always case closed. There's always, wrecks that can happen. But it's definitely, yeah.
4-8, TT versus Powerade. We've seen them fight it out a bit in Division 2. And TT won on Museum 2 that time. But Powerade is not far behind here. So this could be a change of ties, and as I say that, ahead of them, BGM ran into an issue, and Kila is now up in 6, with them having 4 laps to go. We're very close to the end of the field. The top 4 seems to have settled down a bit, but I think any mistake could trigger an overtake there as well.
Yes, the exit of the quarters, B, I think hit the doorway, spun out, and it actually allowed TT to get quite close to him. Powerade has lost a lot of time, currently sitting in 9th. TT closer to B now, in 7th. So he's going to be hunting him down. In the meantime, for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, we do see 50 meters, so bit of a gap. Again, 1 mistake's worth, but see if it happens.
And Zyno and Lopeska seem to be at it again near the back of the field.
Kila bars
been fighting this whole race. Yeah, Kila
may have made a mistake. May have made a mistake. He's not too far ahead of B at this moment.
I think it was only 40 meters at best, so
not too much of it.
Might just have been a bit of pace difference.
Yeah. I am getting a bit anxious here. The racer's approaching the end. It does feel like a situation where nothing's broken yet, but it absolutely could happen.
Yeah, and Lopeska and Zyno are still going at it. They've been fighting the whole race. They've had ups and downs, both of them. It's been a roller coaster, but P12 is still undecided. Amma with the best lap of the race in last, so that's also an interesting way to be in this race. Fam runs a personal best lap. It's 3rd on the best lap leaderboard, which means he would be getting 3 points for that. Frost would be getting 0. There will be 2 points between them after this race. In the table, Zyno with a big mistake in the final turn in the meantime.
By 1 millisecond.
And Frost is on his final lap. Oh my, Fam and Nick are 1 millisecond apart.
Yeah.
Frost in his final turn is gonna be winning the first round of the Revolt Endurance Championship.
Okay.
Fam is gonna follow. Can he do a personal best? He does! I believe. It's the best lap of the race.
Whoa! No way!
He's really... Has he been holding it off? Is my
No
question.
way!
The question is, has he been holding it off? Because now he would be gaining 6 points for that, and Frost is out of the top 5 on best lap. So Fan will be leading the championship.
Wow, he totally steals it on the very,
And
very final lap.
Keela does seem to be able to close down that 6th
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
TT...
Power 8 and Air 2! Air 2 passed the Power 8! It's the final turn! How do we miss this? Air 2 has been holding on to 10th place so faithfully for so many laps. He does end up stealing 9th. Right out from Power 8 there at the very end. Not sure what led up to that, but definitely something. Zyno is in danger of being passed by Ashen in the final turns as well. Amma steals back! Best lap!
Amma does the best lap again, which means that Fam will not be leading the championship.
No way.
We didn't even talk about the possibility of Amma in the back of the field
What
having such a big impact on this.
Yeah.
Zyno beats out Ashen.
Troll Memento. That sounds like a chair skip to me. We'll have to get Amma's word on what exactly he did to finally find. And look, it's almost by 100 milliseconds too. We talked about the previous pass, Bam on Nick being 1 millisecond. He ended up getting that final amazing best lap time, and then Amma steals it back by almost 100 milliseconds. People are challenging, but it does sound like we've got our interviewee in the channel.
Hello.
Yes, hello Frost.
Hello.
So you won the first race.
That was so exhausting, actually. I've never had a more consistent race in my life. This was the first endurance ever that I have had 0 crashes. My worst lap of the entire race was 44, and I only had 4 46s. Everything else was 45s.
So we also have Nick here, I believe.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hey.
You finished first. You missed out on the podium in the end. So how did you feel about this race? Are you satisfied with the result ultimately, or?
Well, I'm satisfied. You know, my consistency is shit from time to time. So it wasn't that bad. Like, I made 5 major mistakes instead of like 20 per usual. So overall, I feel fine. 4th is nice.
We will be here next week at the same time. We don't know what track yet. We should have another field grid next week. We will see what track it is. And thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.